So we're back with Bryan Danielson's AEW run, and we're on to our big match we've been building through for a few weeks now. It is the Anarchy in the Arena match. I think it's the first ever Anarchy in the Arena, a Double or Nothing in 2022. This includes Bryan, Moxley, Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz versus Chris Jericho's Appreciation Society, which is Jericho, Jake Hager, Danny Garcia, Daddy Magic, and I forget the other guy's name, but the point is, it's the first ever Anarchy in the Arena. Now, I have an affinity to this match because I love Anarchy in the Arena, but it's definitely, you can tell it's the first, or it's early on, you know what I mean? Like, one of my favourite matches in 2025 was Anarchy in the Arena with Kenny and, the bodies hit the floor playing, that was sick. But, however, I do think that with Anarchy in the Arena this year, well, last year, sorry. I think they'll do it again this year, Double or Nothing, surely. But last year's with Kenny, Swerve, and all them, against Death Riders, it felt good because they split it up a lot. They did have a lot of split, and, they did have this kind of more segmentation. You could see more things. The split screen really helps. It doesn't have it here. So the start of it's very messy. And not like the way where it's like, wow, it's like a bit too fast where like you're missing shit. And there's a point where, so Santana and Ortiz both get on the ladders, and this one big ladder, and they both do a dive, but then on the other side, Moxley's about to just strike Jericho with a knee, and because it's not timed correctly, and it's hindsight to head, hindsight's great. It's the thing that carries this match for the first. It's only 25-minute match. The match is carried by the atmosphere, as it should be. It's what I expect from a fucking Anarchy in the Arena. For the, at the start of it, I love the entrance. I love Justin Roberts going, "Ladies and gentlemen," and he doesn't he goes, "Shit's about to hit the fan." I love it. The crowd pops. Then Jericho makes his entrance with the JAS. And then, this was weird. So, obviously, Moxley, Bryan, Santana, Ortiz, and Kingston all make their entrances. But they do through the stands, obviously. And it's so weird seeing Bryan come through the stands. It really fucking is. But that was cool. They're all standing there and they're walking down. Then it just erupts. Hager goes after Hager. Who does Hager? I think Hager goes after Santana or Ortiz. I forget. But then Kingston's kind of thingied with not Garcia, but the other guy. I forget. And then Bryan's basically got. Oh no, Eddie's got Daddy Magic, and Daddy Magic does a brilliant blade job. He's covered in it. It's brilliant. And then basically, the Wild Thing's the song that's playing that I really fuck with. I love Wild Thing. It makes me realise how much I miss Wild Thing. Fucking rest in peace, Face Moxley. So, basically, Bryan's dealing with this guy. There's not a lot of Bryan at the start. Moxley and Jericho are going at it. Jericho's fucking weird as hell, and I love him. He's going on this mobility scooter trying to get away, and Moxley has to catch him. Eddie and Daddy Magic kind of steal the show here at the start when they're still on the concourse. They go to the merch stand and shit. I feel like the match, when it's at that start point, first 5 to 10 minutes, maybe not 10, but that's when it starts. That's when it's a bit kind of too much to kind of intake. It's cool. It is cool, and it's such a spectacle. It is fun. But as a breakdown, as a match, it's kind of okay, how am I following it? Because there's a lot of cuts. There's a lot of cuts in production. And again, I understand it's designed to be like that. But it's I don't know. I just feel it's hard to understand shit. You feel okay, what's going on a bit. But eventually, it does work its way towards the ring, which is, it makes more sense to me. I do like Anarchy in the Arena. I've got to really make that clear. I love Anarchy in the Arena normally, but this is so primitive that it kind of hates it. So, basically, as they walk down to the ring, Moxley's in the ring with Jericho. And this is sick as hell. Moxley is in the ring, and not just the turnbuckle, not just the pole it's onto, the entire fucking side beam. He drags it out, it's all connected to the ropes, he drags them all out, so there's only 2 ropes, and there's no top rope, and he goes up and he's whipping Jericho with the beam. It's fucking nasty. Bryan's outside kicking the fuck out of someone. Basically, Eddie Kingston and Garcia are busy brawling out during the merch stand. He basically takes Garcia out at that point. The other two, Daddy Magic, and I feel terrible forgetting the guy's name, but I have. And basically, he jumps down. They do the ladder spot. They break some tables. That was sick. And basically, it just evolves into Hager and Jericho versus Bryan and Moxley for a few minutes. Which is cool. Bryan's doing the yes kicks. Bryan gets a stuff in with Jericho. Jericho's getting the whips in on Moxley too. What I enjoyed was, as well, during this, it just devolves into, like, pure madness, and it feels like they have a point where, like, Bryan hits up a psycho knee, hits some kicks, strikes, because Moxley gets taken out, then Bryan obviously comes to save him, Hager's in the way, and basically, they're trying to get at him. But then, while Bryan and Jericho both basically, because so Bryan hits up a psycho knee on Hager when he's trying to save Moxley. Then Jericho has the chair out, and Jericho hits the psycho knee on Jericho, and they're both out. And then one of the best images ever, visuals ever, I don't give a fuck, is Eddie Kingston walking down the ramp, bloodied as hell, with the jelly can. Oh my god, it's iconic. It's one of my favourite things. It's one of the reasons. If you love Eddie Kingston, you love that image. If you don't love Eddie Kingston, you probably still love that image because it's so fucking cool. He walks down the ramp and he's got this gas and he's just demented. Like, he's demented, bro. It's the Eddie Kingston moment for me. It really is. And he pours the gasoline on Jericho, but also pouring it on Bryan. He doesn't give a fuck. Not deliberately, but he's pouring it on Bryan. Bryan's, like, shaking it all off. He's pissed. Jericho's down. Hager's nowhere to be seen. Moxley's out. So Bryan's like, what the fuck? And he starts pushing with Eddie, and Eddie's, like, barely anything. So they start scrapping. Moxley comes in the ring trying to take them, drag them off each other. And he can't even do it because Jericho hits him with a chair. And then Bryan's beating the shit out of Eddie. And then Jericho and Hager basically grab Bryan. They hit him with the pole to the leg, which was nasty, like the back of the leg. So Bryan's basically fumbled. And then they have Hager hold Bryan, and he's just whacking him with the pole and shit. And he goes for the pin. And Bryan kicks out, which is really cool. Now, after that, obviously, Moxley gets up. Moxley starts trying to get fucking at it, as you expect. And then Bryan gets back involved. Moxley brings out this barbed wire fucking mat, like this barbed wire table-esque thing, and Hager does a dive straight away onto him. He just fucking dives it. Moxley's on the barbed wire, so he's out. Eddie's basically out at this point as well. So it's Bryan and Jericho and Hager at this point. Now, Bryan puts up a fight. He's going for, like, the psycho knee yet again. He hits that on on Jericho, and then he goes, I'm going to kick his fucking head in, which is peak as hell. And he starts to basically try to kick his head in, but Hager gets involved. They basically, I forget what he does. I don't know if it's a low blow, but it's not a low blow. But basically, they drag him out. And then I think I forget what it wasn't the chair. What it was they get the rope, so it's the pole with the ropes on it, like Moxley was whipping Jericho with. And they put that round Bryan's throat, and Hager's dragging it. And because what it was, so Bryan gets hit in the leg, and then so his leg's heavily damaged. Jericho gets him in the walls, and then Hager's got the thing around his neck, pulling him. So it's fucking brutal for Bryan. And Bryan doesn't tap; he fades, and basically, everyone's bloodied up. Everyone's like, fuck. And that's the match. That's the match finished. The Jericho Appreciation Society win. It's really fun. It's really fun match. There's not much antics after it. It's just the Jericho Appreciation Society celebrating. As you expect, everyone comes back. Garcia, even comes back. Everyone comes back. Daddy Magic looks fucked, but it's so cool. I like it when Daddy Magic runs the blade. It's cool. It's a fun match. There's so many fun spots. Like I said, Jericho with the scooter. Jericho pulling the Soundwave to turn Wild thing off during the match. That was pretty cool. Just a bunch of shit like the spots with the table, the kicks with Bryan, a lot of dives. Jake Hager doing a dive was pretty fucking cool to me. I don't like Jake Hager, fuck that guy. But Jesus, that dive was pretty wild for a guy his size. It's fun. It's a fun match. Again, if I don't want to downplay it, because this is the thing, it's a really entertaining match. It really is. I think from a Bryan perspective solely, obviously for our views, it's not Bryan focused, so you're not going to get that specific feeling, which makes sense. But also with as a match, it's very primitive. Like I say, if it doesn't help that I've watched many other Anarchy in the arenas, specifically 2025s, which is in my opinion the best. So it doesn't help it. It kind of not devalues it, because everything should be judged on its own merit. But you know what I mean. I've seen this concept refined and done so much better that it's kind of hard to see it in any other way, compare it. But to say it's not as charming and not as fun and emotion, everything, It's a lie. It really fucking is. It's still as fun as ever. The concept of Anarchy in the Arena is one of the best things that wrestling's done in the last how many years. It's excellent. And even in this form, you can see it's something magic. It was really fun. The music playing, the spots, the people he had involved, the blade job, shit like that. It's just fun as hell. It really is. And honestly, it feels weird. Like, there's definitely the storytelling with Bryan and Eddie. That was an excellent way to do it. Bryan and Eddie, like, basically not being able to get on because Eddie was pouring the gas on, and Moxley having to split it up. That's kind of cool. Moxley being mediator. Obviously, it's mainly about it's very Jericho and Moxley centric. Like I say, you don't feel Bryan's true center point in the match. It feels like the match isn't focused at all. It isn't. But if it's focused on anyone to speak, it is Jericho, which makes sense. But also a bit on Moxley too. You think it'd be more on Eddie and Eddie a bit more because Eddie's the one who issued the challenge. But obviously, Moxley's Moxley, 2 world champions. That's pretty cool. It's a really fun time. It really is. Like I say, I would recommend this. Definitely, I would recommend this match. It's one of Bryan's best. It's one of the most fun. But, again, it's so hard to not compare it to New Anarchy and the Arenas because they're so much better. They are, and it's sad. And I don't think we touch on all of them. We don't touch on 25 with Bryan's run, but we touch on a lot. And they are good. I prefer this to Stadium Stampede a hell of a lot. Like, I've seen the original Stadium Stampede. Nowhere near this. Nowhere near. This is always better. It's more magic. There's more fun. It's a bit more confined. It works. And I like the freedom Anarchy in the Arena gives, but it has to come to a point where it's got to stay focused. And again, they learn from it clearly. It's a phenomenal concept. It really is. And you can see that here being birthed. The wrestling itself's pretty good. Like, the spots are really shocking. Moxley has the fork, like, early on. Moxley does... The fact that Daddy Magic's blade job here is fucking excellent. It really is. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It felt short for Anarchy in the Arena. So 20 minutes for an Anarchy in the Arena feels very short. I think the 2025 was an hour. But that one's so packed. It's like, Jesus, you got Shibata in there. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that one flies by. This one doesn't fly. It feels you're waiting for it. For me, after the first 5 minutes, then it flies. It's that first 5 minutes. That's not a slog, but it's like you're waiting for it to get a bit more like, okay, we need to kind of settle down a bit. Not because this isn't fun. It's really fucking fun. But it's also like, we need to move forward a bit. Like, we need to just not be like, it's so chaotic, it's kind of hard to focus, you know what I mean? So it's like one of those where it's a bit overwhelming, at least to me. But please don't take that as I don't like this match. I fucking love this match. I thought it was really good. It's not one of Bryan's best here. It's not a bad match by any means. It's a great match. It's just Anarchy in the Arena for me is one of my favourite events the entire year. It really is. Just when they see that and Blood and Guts, I adore. So when they do something like this, obviously I'm always going to be reminded of the good memories, especially the 25. And it's not that, and that's fine. But, like, it's a really good match. It's still such a great concept. It's still cool to see Bryan in the primitive one. I really like this. Honestly, if you've not seen the first ever Anarchy in the Arena, I really recommend it for a lot of people. For that Eddie Kingston imagery alone, it is phenomenal. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on Bryan's match number 33, which is the Anarchy in the Arena in 2022. Yeah, so let me know what you think of the match. Have you seen it? What's your favourite moment from any Anarchy in the Arena, actually? And, yeah, more Bryan stuff, because I love the guy.